Habits and daylight saving time. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. And yes, I did say daylight saving time. All the people go nuts if you say savings, even though we all grew up saying it that way. But supposedly the correct way is daylight saving time. Uh, let's talk about habits and how they apply. Habits, we talk a lot about habit building here, especially if you're early on in your entrepreneurial journey and you are learning how to teach yourself to do the right thing, do the things that matter in business and trying to grow your business. Habits really matter a whole heck of a lot, and learning how to build habits so you don't burn yourself out just trying to plow through everything with willpower. Eventually that energy runs out, and you have to have other things that help make up the difference. I was pretty lucky early on to not ever be really good at willpower. I burn out real fast if I'm just trying to force something. So I'm very protective of how much force I put into things. And I've gotten good, not gotten good. I'm in the process of getting better at building habits and realizing what works and what doesn't work, what allows me to start, but also what allows me to keep going. And like I said, we've discussed this a lot on this channel. You could watch other videos about it. One of the things that'll throw people off, though, is a change at all in schedule. Your body gets into a rhythm with time. If you have a certain time of the day that you take a nap, your body starts shutting down during that time. If you have a time of the day if you have the time at night where you go to sleep, your body tends to go to sleep at that time. There's certain rhythms, and the older you get, I think, I could be wrong on this, but at least for myself, the more ingrained these rhythms get, and the more specific my body gets about doing things in a very specific rhythm. I don't know if that's the case with you too. I mean, leave me a comment and let me know if you're any different. But as I've gotten older, I really do have to stick to more of a schedule, or at least I have to acknowledge that there's a schedule there and that my body is trying to go one way when I'm trying to go another. Nothing is more true than when we switch times back and forth. Those of you in Arizona and Hawaii, I know you don't do that. I don't think Hawaii does it. I know Arizona doesn't. And that's fabulous. I wish we could institute that countrywide for those of you in the United States. And I know a whole lot of the world still practices daylight saving time, where you switch up an hour or back an hour throughout the year. Drives me nuts. Drives my body crazy. My whole family goes bonkers because we send the kids to bed at a very specific time every night. And when that gets thrown off, they go nuts for a couple days because their bodies are off. They're not used to it. And any habits I build up, the slightest change in schedule in terms of the things I'm used to doing, when I start really messing with that, all of a sudden habits get thrown off and I forget to do something that I've built a habit of doing. So how do you fix that? How do you make sure that you stay in rhythm even though certain things are going to be off? You go on vacation, you do this, daylight saving time happens. How do you handle that? I'll tell you how I handle it. The only way I've found how to handle it is to acknowledge that it exists. Is that changes flip things around, and you have to have things marked down so that you can go back to them and say, okay, what are all the things that I know I got to do during the day or during the week or what have you? What are the things I know I got to get done that can fall through the cracks when something changes? During the holidays, it's guaranteed, because we pick up our entire family and go down south. I'm in Southern Oregon. My family is in Northern California. We drive for 8 hours with my family all the way down and hang out with the rest of my extended family for a week on end, both during Thanksgiving and during the Christmas period, and at least a week usually. And it gets crazy. It throws everything out the window. And so the more things I build into my life as habits, the more I have to watch them And I have to be aware when something's coming up. If it's something that's predictable, it's better. But if something's coming up, be ready for it. And be ready to watch your habits and keep them on track as best as you can, as much as possible. The other piece of this that I have neglected through the years that I've discussed here, and I'm going to be discussing more because it is so imperative to everything you do, and if you have team members or other people that you work with, that they're on top of also, and that is the idea of really having people depend on each other. So really having people that can check up on you and you can check up on them when it comes to your habits. Having pieces built in. There's different ways of going about doing this. A lot of you people who work with me know that I'm a stickler for this, and that this is one of the things I've been instituting especially over the last year. Every book I've been reading it has been pushing it more and more to the forefront of my mind as being a key piece that has slowed me down through the years, is not having that extra oversight, not having somebody there to be able to keep me on my toes. And I think a whole lot of that comes, I don't mean to go too far off board here, but with me personally, a whole lot of it comes from childhood, going to, dealing with school and dealing with all the societal pressures trying to get you to go one way or the other, whether it's right or wrong. There's always pressures, and if you resent that pressure, you may rebel against it like I did, but then you're left without any structure whatsoever. And there's nothing wrong with having dependency systems, to having some systems which help keep you in line and help move you forward in the direction that you think's right for you to go in. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater like I've done for years and years. Sift through it and find out what works for you. When it comes to habits, there are good habits and there are bad habits, and there are good ways of developing habits and bad ways of developing habits. You don't want to ever become completely dependent on other people. At the same time, in order to build a habit, sometimes you need to have someone checking up on you. So that's a little piece of how to survive daylight saving time craziness. As I'm recording this, we just switched over last night. It hasn't even been 24 hours. And so still not used to the new time system. I don't think I'll ever get used to switching back an hour or forward an hour. It's just a strange deal, but we're going to survive it. We didn't get to choose all the rules of this world, but sometimes you just got to survive them and move on. So hopefully that's helpful to you. I've got a book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. It's all about the concept of how to make yourself completely competition proof. You could get a free copy at amazonproofbook.com. I'm going to be back here tomorrow night. Try to be here every day. It's another one of my habits. You have a good one. Get out there and let the magic happen.